These 2 September days will surely remain in Lebanese history as filled with unprecedented horror and suffering. Unprecedented, even though over the 10,000 years of civilization in these lands, they've seen everything. Death came unexpectedly, publicly, massively, and extraordinarily bloody. Detonating electronics tore chunks of flesh, pushed out eyes, leaving them dangling by nerve threads, tore off hands, leaving shreds of muscles. Hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people, mostly by chance, found themselves in the trenches of someone else's war. The cannonade on city streets was just like on the front line. In hospitals across Lebanon, endless lines of ambulances formed. The country has been in crisis for many years, so the current test of endurance had to be faced by a healthcare system that was not just half dead, but completely dead. And predictably, it failed the test. According to official data, 12 people died from pager explosions on September 17th. 2,800 were injured. September 18th arrived. Just as the horror of the first day began to subside, just as the panic calmed, the explosions roared again. If a military purpose could be found in the first day's attacks, on the second day, mostly non-military items exploded. Mobile phones, laptops, solar panels, multi-cookers, fingerprint scanners at entrances. Roo. By all indications, the bombers decided to blow up everything their hands touched. Anyway, the Lebanese will start dismantling any gadgets so the explosives won't go to waste. The outcome of the second, but possibly not the last day of detonating electronics, was no less horrific than the first. 25 people died, 450 were injured. Among the victims were many random people, although it seemed they were targeting Hezbollah members. It turned out, however, that the pagers were carried by Lebanese army reservists, emergency services, military retirees. In the end, communicators might not have been with their owners. They could have been left at home or just set aside, given to children to play with. There's no need to even mention exploding household appliances. They certainly injured completely random people, but Hezbollah members were undoubtedly among the victims. They chose pagers for their simplicity, low cost, and inability to be tracked remotely. Clearly, the effective Israeli attack is far from over. No, it seems now it's just beginning.
We were subjected to a brutal attack, but that's the nature of war and the essence of this conflict. Our enemy has technical superiority. We've always acknowledged that. They all act together. Israel, the Americans, NATO. They will all have to answer for this. The punishment will be harsh but fair, unexpected, and deserved. I won't name the time, date, or method of punishment. When the time comes, you'll all find out from the news.
American publications report that the Operation Denites Pagers Bringing Hezbollah began almost 15 years ago. Apparently, experts have already agreed that penteritritol tetranitrate was used as the explosive. It was added to batteries, and detonation was ensured by increasing temperature. However, this explanation explains absolutely nothing. Explosives were packed into tens of thousands of gadgets of various purposes. This means it wasn't done in a basement lab, but at some enterprise conveyor belt. The factory was surely equipped to work with detonating substances, and finding it is not difficult. The mined equipment was sold by fake Hungarians and Norwegians, who are now nowhere to be found. However, the exploded equipment moved around the world, leaving thousands of paper trails. Loaded here, stored there, here was a transshipment port. In general, finding the ends is not difficult, if of course they allow it.
Installing mini-traps on these pagers requires technical support from a large number of people and organizations, even countries. There is no doubt that the Israelis interacted with many states and their structures. Such an enterprise requires a significant number of technologies and large-scale industrial production. It's beyond the power of one country or one intelligence.
Meanwhile, about 10 days ago, the ill-fated pagers were taken from the doctors of the American University in Beirut. A coincidence, probably, since no one in the States knew anything.
I can confidently state that we are in no way involved in either yesterday's or today's incidents. I have nothing more to say to you.
Meanwhile, waging war in the manner of kill them all, God will sort out his own, has long gone out of fashion. King Herod could afford to kill all the infants to destroy the future Messiah. But since then, much has changed in human customs, and Lebanese history has already attracted the attention of human rights activists.
It's all quite obvious here. This is a war crime, and it cannot be called anything else. Political leaders and international organizations are somehow very reluctant to use the exact crime definition there, the conflict between Israel and Gaza. And here is one of the episodes of this conflict, conducted criminally by both sides. This attack is not much different from what Hamas does when indiscriminately launching rockets at peaceful cities.
Infants to destroy the future Messiah. But since then, much has changed in human customs, and Lebanese history has already attracted the attention of human rights activists.
It's all quite obvious here. This is a war crime, and it cannot be called anything else. Political leaders and international organizations are somehow very reluctant to use the exact definition. There is a conflict between Israel and Gaza, and here is one of the episodes of this conflict, conducted criminally by both sides. This attack is not much different from what Hamas does when indiscriminately launching rockets at peaceful cities.
The terrorist attack in Lebanon was also the subject of a UN Security Council meeting. Obviously useless, of course, but at least here, everything was called by its name. Those who committed this barbaric crime spared no one. Explosions, at least in hospitals, markets, streets, shops, and pharmacies. It is clear that the organizers of this unprecedented attack, in terms of the malicious use of household devices, were deliberately seeking to ignite a large-scale armed confrontation, aiming to provoke a new major Middle Eastern war. Fans of Israeli intelligence celebrate victory, although this is more of a tactical triumph with a strategic defeat. The taboo on indiscriminate use of state violence has been lifted. The British Daily Mail applauds Israeli intelligence but immediately panics. What if China and Russia mine our iPhones? And there is no doubt there will be plenty of people eager to mine, even without Beijing and Moscow. Now, like in an old novel, God is dead and everything is permitted. What was previously unimaginable has become permissible. We've known for many years that all electronics are watching us. Now we also know that gadgets are probably waiting for the moment to kill us. And why not? So the Lebanese horror tells us. Now people can be torn to pieces, drained of blood, and painfully deprived of life. And when this is done to us, it will be decided by people we don't even know. And they might kill in the name of ideas that mean nothing to us. So, hello Brave New World! Oleg Romanov on the main broadcast.